Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel. Welcome to another video. Why did I hesitate on saying that? I'm not sure. Last couple of weeks I have been focusing on my classic games and working on those games, but now it's time to dive back into the new episode of Space Grunts. The next game that I have been working on it. I scheduled 5 to 6 month project for it. I'm nearing that 6 month. I think I'm at version 23, starting 24, which means 6 months of development. It hasn't been full weeks, so there is some wiggle room there, but I need to wrap up the project now if I want to stay within my developing a cool game in 6 months. So let's see where we are, because I have made some changes in the recent weeks that I haven't talked about on the channel yet. They are great. They are good. They're awesome. Let's talk about those changes for the game. Okay, so a little bit of a quick context. Space Grunts is my turn-based genre. When I create a turn-based game, it's Space Grunts. And it's a fast-paced turn-based, so it plays like an arcade action game. I don't like strategy and all those things and playing it very slowly. That's why I wanted to create my own kind of turn-based. The original Space Grunts, released in 2015, did very well. The second version, I implemented deck card battle systems. Some people loved it, but most people that loved the first part didn't like the second. So with this new version, we're going back to the original idea, a fast turn-based game that I like to play and that can be played like an action arcade game if you want. But of course, it's turn-based, so if you don't take your turn, the world will also stay quiet and wait for you. So there is enough room to strategize or think about tactics, or just go to the toilet, I guess, without having to pause the game. Turn-based has a lot of benefits. Now I don't just want to recreate the original game, I did want to add a twist. And when I started working on the game, I started showing it on this channel, and people in the comments told me that the timer I wanted to implement was a bad idea. What I had in mind was that every now and then you have to touch a teleporter or a special place, a hotspot in the level, to reset a timer. If you did not do that, you would die. In the comments, people told me it was a bad idea, but as a game designer, you have an idea and you want to explore it, and that's the fun of creating games. Even though people might think it's a stupid idea, you don't know until you try. So I built it into the game, released a demo, and yeah, the timer was a bit of a stupid idea. I wish someone would have told me. People played the demo and they told me that the timer, it works, but it also limits the amount of exploration you can do, because you had to constantly remember where the last hotspot or the closest hotspot was, so that you could touch it and reset the timer, and then you wouldn't go back that same path. You figured, let me go into this direction now. I've seen that for a part, but it limited your exploration. So the timer was a terrible idea. I removed it at that point. Now, a few months later, it's back, but it's different now. It's working a lot better. How the timer works now is pretty simple. You have a object called the chrono shard. This is a little container that has chrono juice of power or matter or whatever in it, and it slowly depletes. Refilling it, you have to touch one of the teleporters. So that's the timer system pretty much back in action, except that it's now a little energy bar or juice bar that lowers or empties as you play. And if it depletes completely, you don't die. Except when you die. I still have to work on my elevator pitch here. All right, let me explain, let me rewind a little bit. So let's say your chrono shard is still full. You encounter enemies that are too strong for you. They kill you at that spot. Then the chrono shard activates and you get the option to place an item at that spot where you died. Either a turret, a specific DNA mine, a teleporter, a shield. A couple of items that could be very useful if you return there. You place that item and then you're reset to retry that same level. And that's where the chrono shard comes in, because it allows you to replay that level, and items you placed and objects you placed will still be there. So you can go back to that same room you just died in. That item, let's say it was a turret, is now there, taking out the enemies that killed you on your first run, and now you get to pass through that room and continue and hopefully get further into the game. Now the problem here is that let's say you encounter another room full of enemies and your chrono shard is empty. The enemies kill you, it's game over. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I just have to compact that into a shorter version for an elevator pitch and a good description of the game. But this is now how the game works. You can replay a level as long as you keep your chrono shard energized or full, or at least some fluids have to be in there so that you can replay the game or the same level over and over and over until you defeat everything and you move on to the next level. So in that sense, the timer is back into the game, and this is close to what I had in mind originally, just that the first version I had wasn't really working. It's now more a timer that actually helps you if you can manage to keep some chrono juice in there. That sounds... this is usually the moment that the Discord goes crazy about the juice part. Moving on. But I have been working on a lot more. There are now terminals in the game. I don't think I had them in the previous time I talked about it on camera. These terminals allow you to learn things about entities you encounter, and as you learn of these creatures, they become easier for you to beat or defeat. They might be more inclined to run away from you. Just a lot of little things that allow you to just hopefully make the game easier the further you get. For this terminal to work, you have to find data cards in a level. Data cards can also control the level, or either that level or the next. So you have cards like open all doors. That means you don't need any key cards. You can just run through the door that you want to go through. Disable all incinerators. That makes it a lot easier on some levels. And various things like that. Now these cards, these system cards, don't have to be used in the current level, because that could be a waste. Let's say you opened all the doors already, finding all the key cards, opening all the doors. That took you a very long time, and now you run into a data card that opens all the doors. That would be a waste. So you can actually check that data card, but you don't have to use it until the next level, which means on the next level you can immediately open all the doors from the start. And I do think that it will change every run, and so every time you would play the same level, it would most likely be a very different situation. And to make you experience these different versions and outcomes of a mission, there's now also a mission log. This will show you all the games or the last couple of games you played for each character in the game, and you can replay that seed, that mission, that same setup, and from there on the game might change depending on your actions, but you can try to improve your run on that mission. So let's say the first time you play a mission you die at level 3, you can retry that same seed, that same mission with the same character and see if you get further than that, or you can share this seed with your friends and see if they can beat how far you got in that level. So still have to figure out how I'm going to do all the sharing, if it's just a matter of this is the seed number, give it to your friend, or if you can do some optimization there with maybe mailing or sending it. We'll have to see if I can implement something like that. But for now, just the seed number should be enough. You can easily copy paste it and show other people and see how far they get in the same mission. I also added crafting. I think this was already in the last version and also the current demo, but I changed it and improved it. Crafting was first only for your weapons to upgrade them, but now you can actually find data cards on the terminal that give you all the information and intelligence on how a certain item is built and made. And because you have that information, you can then craft an item like that at a craft station. Now I still have to make sure that there's enough data cards spread around so that you can actually learn these things, and maybe we're gonna perma unlock them for future games. Have to figure out if that's an idea, but then at least you can create certain items in all your games, which would be a very cool thing to have. So there might just be some sort of perma crafting knowledge added to the game, so that once you find a very rare item and you understand how it's created by finding the right data card, adding it to a terminal, at that point all your future games you will be able to craft that item. And crafting is done using tech scraps. My main problem here was there just was not enough tech scraps going around. So the crafting station was always there, but I rarely had enough scraps to upgrade my weapons and build items. So I needed a way to add more of these tech scraps. Tech scraps. You can now mine for them. You get a little mining device in your inventory, I think from the start of the game. Right now I have it that you always spawn with this mining device. I I think I'm gonna keep it like that. I still have to figure out, this is just a recent addition. I have to play the game a few times to see if this actually works. But we'll have a mining device that you can place in a room, and it will mine all the scraps out of that room. That will take a lot of turns, but you can come back to that room at some point and there will be tech scraps all around that you can pick up and then use to craft new items or upgrade your weapons. So I still have to perfect or refine this system, but I think it's going to be interesting, and it also allows us to create more items and to upgrade weapons more easily, and also give you a little bit of an extra gameplay here. You have to place this mining device in certain rooms and also retrieve it, preferably before you move on to the next level, although I think it will automatically go with you magically somehow. Yeah, best not to think about that. It will just be there always. Gaming magic. And that brings me to the final change, the big one. It's not set in stone yet, but now we have this whole mechanic with the chronos shard. And I decided that that is most likely gonna be the subtitle or main title of this game. So it's not gonna be Space Grunts 3. Many people asked me this before, why add a 3? Because then players are not gonna play it because they want to play 1 and 2, or they think they will miss out because they haven't played 1, 2, and now they have 3. It's not gonna be called Space Grunt 3. It's gonna be a new game in the Space Grunts universe, and that means it's gonna be called Space Grunts Chronos Shard, which is for now that's the working title and the most possible candidate for the release version, but I'm still far away from releasing the game, so it might change, and maybe I can find something better or more fitting or better wording for it. But I like Chronos Shard for now, even create a little logo for it. So so check it out on Steam, make sure to wishlist it. Also check out the Orangepixel developer page. It's in the description below. From there you can find all my Orangepixel games on Steam. I think the Steam developer pages will be more important in the near future, maybe over the coming months. So please check out the Orangepixel developer page on Steam and make sure to follow it there. Just in case Steam comes up with interesting changes, then I want to be there and I want to have a good amount of followers. Now there is a demo for Space Grunts on Steam, but it's becoming a little bit outdated now. There are so many changes and I haven't pushed a new version just yet. I have to see if that makes sense right now or if I wait for a little bit later. But that demo is still a lot of fun, and it shows you a little bit of how the game is going to be, minus all the things I just mentioned. So make sure to play the demo, wishlist the game, follow me on Steam, all those kind of things. And let's wrap up this video. Next week, episode 400. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do with that, but that means I've been doing this YouTube thing for 400 consecutive weeks. Every Thursday a new video, 400 weeks in a row. I'll do something, maybe I'll talk about YouTube for game developers. Is this worth it? Did it bring me anything? Things like that. If you have questions for that, drop them in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe before we hit episode 400. If you have nothing to add, but you're one of these idle watchers, the keyword, and you know what to do with it, the keyword for this week's video, people asked it in last week's video, goatee. Put it in the comments. Goatee is this week's keyword. All right. Thanks for watching. Make sure to watch next week's video, and I will see you in next week's video, whatever it's gonna be. Episode 400. Crazy. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in episode 400 next week, next Thursday. Bye.